Hello there. Good day, good evening, good morning, whenever you may be listening. I know I got the wrong way around, but nevertheless, my name is Mr. Mont, and once again I would like to thank you for listening, and apologies that this isn't up on Friday as usual, as, like last week, I've been a little bit busy, so it's just decided to go up on Sunday. But don't worry, by Friday next week we should have things back to normal. And by that point I should be able to give some interesting news, as next week Batman v Superman comes out, and so I shall give you my thoughts on that. That'll be interesting to look forward to. But hey-ho, enough of interesting stuff about what's to come. Time to talk about what has been happening this week with movie news, weather updates, sports updates, and random news stories. Let's get straight into it. First up, movies. What's been released this week? Well, actually not that much. There's been this and that, Miracles from Heaven, The Bronze. Not entirely sure what that's about. However, there is this one movie that has been released this week that is interesting in the sense that it's something to talk about. Because the movie in question is Allegiant. It is the third film in the series of Divergent movies, which are, to be frank, they're very not interesting at all. As it's basically just another one of those young adult novel that turned into a movie series that's basically following the wave of when Hunger Games came out. Seriously, these kind of movies have existed for quite a while, and it's basically following what has been the biggest trend. It's always been happening since the early 2000s. It was started when Harry Potter came out. It was like, that was the biggest thing. Everybody wanted to see mystical wizards and all that stuff, so they had novels that created that seemed to follow that similar kind of road. Then when Twilight came out, there was a whole bunch of movies and follow-up books that were kind of like that. They even had a movie based on, like, love story between a human and a zombie. That's just even more ridiculous. And then the most recent one was when, since Hunger Games got so popular, now some young adults surviving in the apocalypse. We have this Divergent series, we have not Hunger Games, the other one that is The Maze Runner, which is even more ridiculous. And annoyingly, it's a phase that is nothing else original from it. Hunger Games is now officially over, and that even went out on a whimper, so why even continue on this? Anyway, Allegiant, you don't care about that, so I'm not even going to bother talking about it. Right. But anyway, last week I talked about briefly on my YouTube channel what I thought about Daredevil Season 1. And I can confirm that during this weekend I watched the entire of the new season of Daredevil Season 2, so that's something I shall talk about for a bit. How was it? Pretty good. I pretty much really enjoyed the majority of it. It had a lot of interesting characters. The Punisher was a pretty cool addition. Maybe future stuff for himself getting a spin-off series. Little bits, pieces, slow things here and there, but overall the action was really, really good and really impressive. Some impressive kind of villains and the main focus stuff. Also get introduced to another new main character, Elektra. Interesting assassin lady. It's all pretty good stuff. However, if there is one complaint I will give this, is that the series, while entertaining and action-packed, it doesn't have that same grip feeling that the first series had. The first series, when it had Wilson Fisk as the main villain, it was intense because you didn't know whether you were able to win in this situation. Every opportunity you turn, he always had an answer to it. He always had like a way around it, and you didn't feel like you were going to be able to top this man. You would be able to compete against this kind of man with unbelievable power. And with this series, while they do have similar kind of thoughts, and there's a lot of sense of defeat throughout the entire series where things continue to go down a spiral for bad things for our main characters, it still doesn't exactly have that same grip feeling of tenseness. Although there is moments of absolute genius in the series, specifically in the middle, which I will not give away for the life of me. As there's one certain rule, is that I hate spoilers with capital H, so I shall not spoil anything that happens throughout this series. All I gotta say is, if you watched Daredevil Season 1 and you liked it, you should not be disappointed with the second season. Give it a try and give it a watch. Hopefully with some more things to come. Right, that's enough movie talk and TV talk and all around talk. Let's move on to the weather. Let's see how things are going this week, and it's clouds. Lots and lots of clouds. Nothing really super amazingly interesting that wise. It's been sunny for quite a bit, but annoyingly, the weather's just now becoming a lot more dull. It's like brief moments of sunshine, but mostly clouds. Later on this week, we might see some rain. Unfortunately, towards next weekend. Let's see how London fares. Same kind of stuff, but windy on Saturday, so look out for that. And same stuff for Edinburgh. How about Swindon? That's a new location. Rain at the end of the week too. Although Friday it says to be sunny, which it seems to all around say. So yeah, most of the week. So if during on Friday we get a nice sunny day, then happy times for all. It'll be quite interesting to see how the weather turns out. Not really sure why I even bother doing this section of the podcast, but it's something nice and different to do. It gives us a bit of variety throughout the rest of the stuff. And speaking of variety, let's move on to sports, as it seems is now going to talk about football. That's soccer for anyone who isn't even listening in America. Probably not, but I might as well give them the opportunity if there are. And right now we've got the Premier League going on. As of this Sunday, we have had the big matches happen. It seems we have Newcastle versus Sunderland seems to be tied. Well, one goal for each. Seems interesting. Southampton versus Liverpool, they're up 3-2. So Southampton won in that one, I suppose. At least I think this is live, or is it finished? I'm presuming this is the end of the day, that's all the matches are done. So Southampton wins in that. Man City versus Man United. Oh dear, this man. I guess it's all. Oh yeah, Manchester. Two different Manchester places have been having their football teams going against each other, and Man United won. Interesting there. And Tottenham. This is interesting. Tottenham versus Bournemouth. Complete shutout there. Tottenham won to 3 points. 3 goals. So, there we go. That's some football stuff. How the matches went ahead. Seems like the most interesting would be the Southampton-Liverpool game. Seems like even amount of scores on both sides. Thought that might have been interesting, but you never know. Football is like, it can keep you on the edge of your seat, but most of the time you're just sitting around waiting for them to kick the ball around each other and then back into the goals. It's not the most fast-paced kind of thing, but you never know. But hey, Six Nations was good last time with the rugby, and England won. Hooray! So, in case you missed it from last week. Good stuff there. And now for random news, and quite an interesting piece of random news this week. What is the best place to live in Britain? The survey says that place is Winchester, as apparently it has been named as the best city to live in thanks to its outdoor spaces, community spirit, and quality of living. Very cool. It is like historically, cultured, and foodie are words that are used to describe it. It is described by a Sunday Times, I suppose. Oh, Medita, it's like, I guess it's just referred to as a really nice place. They're very interesting locations, but it's like there's more of a story that you could look up on the BBC. That's where I'm getting most of this from. If anybody's wondering where all this information I get is, it's usually the top stories of BBC News. There's a whole bunch of different ones, and this seems like an interesting one. Very interestingly bizarre. It's like practically perfect according to the Sunday Times and Best Places to Live guide. Interesting kind of weird turnabouts for these kind of things. But hey ho. Ooh, we got some regional winners as well. It's like best places to live and according to the regions. If you're living in the east, then Oxford in Suffolk is a good place to live. If you live in London, the best place to live is Fitzrovia. Midlands, best place is Ledbury in Hertfordshire. North East, North Yorkshire. And North Ireland, if you live in North Ireland, best place is Ballycastle in County Artim. In the northwest, Whalley in Lancashire. Scotland, Scotbridge in Edinburgh. South East, Missers in West Sussex. In the southwest, Falmouth in Cornwall. Oh, what's wrong with Bradley Stoke? That's a nice place to live. Who am I kidding? It's in Bristol. It's not a nice place to live. Nice place to live at all. Wales, there's Parnworth in Vale of Glamorgan. Goodness sake, that's the most structured word in the old Welsh language, and it's still difficult to say. So those are the list of places according to their regional places in England of what might be a good place to live. But overall, I guess Winchester is the best. Random thing to talk about, but hey, that's the point of these random news sections. Just something nice and easy to talk about. Just a nice little quick section. We've reached the 10-minute mark now, and there is the music to cue us out. thank you very much again for listening in, however few of you there are. But I appreciate you taking the time to listen out to my podcast each week. I would like to once again remind everyone to please, if you can, like the videos or like the SoundCloud, or share with your friends. Hopefully get some more people interested. I'd be more helpful to whatever it may be. And if there's anything else you want me to talk about, feel free to let me know. If anyone would ever like to leave any kind of comment. But hey, that's up to you to decide. This has been me, Mr. Monts, and I would like to say thank you and have a very nice day. And see you next week on Friday, where things should get right back to normal. Have a nice day.